Hello everyone. From this video, you will improve your English, your listening skills, and you will enjoy a powerful life story. Listen carefully. This story is about a young man named Arjun. Arjun was 26 years old. He lived in a small rented room in a busy city, not far from the office where he worked. The room was simple, with one bed, one chair, and a small table near the window. From that window, he could see traffic moving all day and night, like the whole city was always in a hurry. Arjun worked in a digital company. His job was not very big, but it was enough to support his family. He handled content checking, customer messages, and basic reports. He was not the best employee in the office, but he was sincere. He came on time, worked seriously, and never created trouble. His mother lived in their hometown with his younger sister. His father had passed away 3 years earlier. Since then, Arjun had become the main support of the house. Every month he sent money home. School fees, electricity bill, medicine, small household expenses, everything depended on him. He never complained, he just worked. But something was changing in his office. People kept talking about AI. At first, Arjun did not pay much attention. Someone would say, AI can now write emails. Someone else would say, AI can make designs in seconds. Another person would laugh and say, soon half the jobs will disappear. These conversations were everywhere, in the pantry, in the elevator, in the lunch area, even in meetings. Arjun used to smile and act normal, but inside he felt a small fear growing every day. One evening, while returning home, he heard 2 co-workers talking near the office gate. One of them said, "Our company may reduce staff next year." The other one replied, "Of course, AI is faster and cheaper." Arjun walked past them quietly. He did not join the conversation. But that night, when he reached his room, he could not stop thinking. He sat on the edge of the bed and opened his laptop. He searched about AI tools. He watched videos. He read articles. He saw people saying things like, "Learn AI or get left behind. AI will replace lazy workers. Future jobs belong to people who adapt." The words hit him hard. He leaned back in his chair and looked at the ceiling. His mind started asking dangerous questions. What if my job disappears? What if I am not useful anymore? What if one day my company decides it does not need people like me? The room was silent. Only the sound of the fan was moving in circles above him. His phone rang. It was his mother. He answered quickly. "Hello, Ma." Her voice was soft. "Did you eat?" Arjun looked at the half-empty teacup on his table. "Yes, Ma, I ate." There was a pause. Then she asked, "Your voice sounds tired. Are you working too much?" Arjun wanted to say yes. He wanted to say he was worried. He wanted to say everything felt unstable. But instead, he said, "No, Ma, I am fine." His mother believed him, at least on the phone. After the call ended, Arjun opened his laptop again. This time he searched for something else. Skills needed in the AI future. The results made him more nervous. Problem solving, communication, data understanding, creative thinking, prompt writing, adaptability. He sat there quietly. He knew how to work hard, but he had never really learned how to protect his future. The next morning he went to office with a different feeling in his chest. The city looked the same, the bus was crowded as usual. People were standing close together, tired and half asleep, but Arjun was not the same. When he reached the office, he noticed a new banner near the reception desk. It said, "AI training session, mandatory for all employees." His stomach tightened. He stood still for a second, then he heard his manager calling everyone for a meeting. Inside the conference room, the manager looked serious. He said, "The company is changing quickly. We are going to use AI tools in many departments. People who can work with these tools will move ahead. People who cannot may struggle." Nobody spoke. The room became heavy and quiet. Arjun looked around. Some employees seemed confident. Some were pretending not to care. But Arjun felt something cold moving inside him. That afternoon, on his desk, he found an email from HR. It said the company would be reviewing performance and efficiency for the coming quarter. Arjun read the email twice, then 3 times. He understood one thing very clearly. The world was changing, and he was not ready. That night he sat alone again in his room. He could hear traffic outside, a dog barking in the lane, some children playing in the distance. But inside him there was no peace, only fear. He looked at his old notebook. On the first page, many years ago, he had written one line, "I will build a better life for my family." He stared at those words for a long time. Then he whispered, almost like he was speaking to himself for the first time in years, "What if I am not enough anymore?" And that question stayed with him through the whole night.
The next week at office, things became more serious. The AI training session had started. Some employees were excited, some were confused, some were openly mocking it. One colleague said, "This is all hype. AI cannot do real work." Another replied, "You say that now, wait 6 months." Arjun stayed quiet. He sat in the back and listened. The trainer was a young woman who spoke clearly and confidently. She said, "AI is not here to remove every job, but it will remove lazy habits. It will remove slow thinking. It will remove people who refuse to learn." Arjun wrote the sentence in his notebook. "It will remove people who refuse to learn." That line kept repeating in his head. After the session, while people were leaving the room, Arjun stayed back and asked the trainer a question. "Can someone like me still learn all this?" The trainer looked at him and said, "Can you learn to use a phone? Then yes. Can you learn to ask better questions? Then yes. Can you learn to think clearly? Then yes." Arjun nodded slowly. That night he did not go straight to sleep. He searched for free courses, not because he suddenly became fearless. He was still scared, but now the fear was pushing him instead of freezing him. He started learning the basics of AI tools. At first it was messy. He did not understand half the words. Some videos moved too fast. Some explanations felt too technical. He almost gave up twice in the first hour. Then he remembered his mother's voice. "Did you eat? Are you okay? You sound tired." He thought about his sister who wanted to join college next year. He thought about the rent due date. He thought about his father's photo hanging on the wall, smiling from an old memory. So he kept going. Day by day, he learned small things: how to write better instructions, how to summarize information, how to save time with AI tools, how to double-check answers, how to use AI for ideas, not blind trust. Slowly, he understood something important. AI was not magic. It still needed a human mind behind it. It still needed judgment. It still needed good questions. One evening, his manager gave everyone a task. The team had to prepare a customer support report, but they only had 1 hour. Earlier, this task would have taken Arjun almost half a day. Now he looked at the problem differently. He used an AI tool to sort the data. Then he checked the results carefully. Then he rewrote the report in simple, clear language. When he submitted it, his manager looked surprised. "This is faster than before," he said. Arjun smiled lightly. "AI helped, but I checked everything myself." The manager nodded. "That is the right way." For the first time in many months, Arjun felt something warm inside his chest. It was not confidence yet. It was something smaller, but stronger than fear. It was hope. Still, not everyone was happy. One of his senior co-workers, Ravi, watched him with a strange expression. Later that evening, Ravi came near his desk and said, "So now you are learning AI too?" Arjun looked up. Yes. Ravi gave a short laugh. Good luck. Technology changes too fast. By the time you learn one thing, something new will come. Arjun did not answer immediately. Then he said quietly, "Maybe, but I cannot stay the same." Ravi walked away without replying. Arjun sat there for a long time after that. He knew learning was not enough. He needed to become someone who could keep learning. That was when his life began to change in a deeper way. He stopped trying to only do his job. He started trying to understand the future. He began watching talks about communication, problem solving, and how people should work with AI instead of against it. He also started improving his English writing because he knew clear communication would matter even more in the coming years. At home, he changed his routine. No more endless scrolling at night. No more wasting hours on random videos. He studied for 1 hour after dinner, then practiced for another 30 minutes, then wrote down what he learned. Slowly, the fear inside him began turning into discipline. But life had one more shock waiting for him, and this shock would test him more than all the AI lessons combined. 2 months later, the company called for a review meeting. Arjun entered the room with a calm face, but his heart was beating faster than usual. His manager, the HR head, and one senior leader were present. The manager opened a file and said, "We are reviewing the teams. Some roles are changing. Some people will be shifted. Some tasks will be automated." Arjun listened carefully. Then came the sentence he had been fearing for weeks. "Arjun, your department will no longer handle some of the work you used to do manually." His mouth became dry. The manager continued, "But there is another opportunity. We need people who can work with AI tools, understand content flow, and help others adapt." Arjun blinked. He almost thought he had heard wrong. Then the manager looked at him directly. "You have improved a lot in the last 2 months. We noticed that. Would you be interested in taking that role?" Arjun stayed silent for a moment. His mind was moving too fast. Fear, relief, shock, hope, all at once. "Yes," he said finally. "Yes, I would." The manager nodded. "Good. We need people who are willing to learn." That evening, Arjun went home in a different mood. He had not become rich, he had not become famous, but something had changed. He was no longer standing at the edge of the future. He had stepped into it. When he reached home, his mother was making tea. She looked at his face and immediately noticed something. "What happened?" she asked. Arjun smiled for the first time in a long while. "I may have a new role at work." His mother's hands paused for a second. Then she smiled slowly. "I knew your hard work would open a door." Arjun sat down and told her everything. About the training, about the fear, about the learning, about the review meeting. His mother listened quietly. When he finished, she said, "Your father would have been proud, not because you avoided change, but because you faced it." Arjun looked down at the teacup in his hands. That night, after dinner, he called his sister. She was excited to hear the news. "Baya, does this mean I can join college next year?" Arjun smiled. "Yes, and this time, do not worry so much." His sister laughed happily. That sound stayed with him. A few weeks later, Arjun was given the responsibility to help other employees learn the new AI tools. The same office people who had once joked about change now came to him for help. One of them said, "I never thought this would happen so fast." Arjun answered with a calm smile. "It did not happen fast. We just started noticing it late." That line spread quietly in the office. People repeated it. Some laughed. Some thought about it deeply. And Arjun understood something important. The future does not always arrive with noise. Sometimes it enters silently while people are busy ignoring it. That year, Arjun did not just keep his job. He grew into a new version of himself, a version that could learn, adapt, think, and stay calm in change. One night, he sat near the window of his room and looked at the city lights. The same city, the same traffic, the same crowded streets, but he was not the same person anymore. He opened the notebook where he had written years ago, "I will build a better life for my family." Under that line, he wrote a new one, "I learned to move with the future, not against it." Several months passed. Arjun became the person new employees often went to for guidance. He did not act superior. He did not speak like a teacher. He spoke like someone who had been scared too, and that is why people listened to him. One afternoon, his company invited him to speak in a small internal session for fresh employees. He stood in front of the group and looked at the young faces watching him. He said, "A few months ago, I was afraid of AI too. I thought it would take away my future. Maybe it can take away some kinds of work, that is true, but what it cannot take away is your willingness to learn." The room became quiet. He continued, "Do not wait until fear becomes bigger than your action. Start learning before life forces you to." After the session, one young boy came to him and asked, "Sir, what was the biggest change for you?" Arjun thought for a moment. Then he smiled and said, "The biggest change was this. I stopped asking, 'Will AI replace me?' and I started asking, 'What should I learn now?'" The boy nodded slowly. That night, Arjun returned home feeling calm, not because everything in life was perfect. Money was still important, responsibility was still heavy, the world was still changing faster than ever, but now he knew how to face it. He checked on his mother, helped his sister with college forms, and then sat alone with his laptop for another short study session. He was still learning, still growing, still improving, and that was the real victory. Not becoming perfect, not knowing everything, just staying ready. Before sleeping, he looked at the old photo of his father and spoke softly, "Papa, I am still here. I am still trying, and I am not running from the future anymore." The room remained silent, but inside him there was peace. Moral of the story: the future does not wait for anyone. AI, technology, and change will keep moving forward. You cannot stop them, but you can choose whether to fear them or learn from them. The people who grow are not always the smartest. They are often the ones who stay curious, stay humble, and keep learning. So do not ask only, "Will AI replace me?" Ask, "What should I learn so I can stay useful, strong, and ready?" Because the future belongs to the people who adapt before they are forced to.